Find
anyway.
the timing of that suspicious? Did they wait till after the election?
Well, no, I don't think so. I think that the Biden administration timed the announcement so that it just couldn't get to court before the election. And so this came pretty quickly. I don't think it could have come any sooner. In terms of the vote, if you've looked at the exit polls, the Republicans won married men by double figures, so in the teens. They won married women. So married women vote Republican by almost 10%, and single men by 7 or 8%. Those three groups all vote Republican. The group that they're getting slaughtered in is single women. Single women vote Democrat by plus 38. So as I said, the Democrat Party now is the party of the super wealthy, the very poor, and single women.
Yeah, and Roe v. Wade. Roe v. Wade is the key for them, isn't it?
Well, I guess, but I mean, people have surely thinking beings have come to realize that all the Dobbs case did was send it back to the legislature. If you live in New York or California or Massachusetts, no abortion entitlement has disappeared. If anything, they're stronger. So it's just put it to the Democratic legislature where it belonged in the first place before Roe just made up a sort of bizarre mystical right that our sort of high court judges are starting to copy in things like love. You just put your finger on the pulse of social values as if an unelected top judge has the slightest idea what most people think. But I think women will come to realize that unless you live in Alabama or Mississippi, abortion's not going anywhere. Now, Could the Republicans have done a better job explaining this to people? Of course. The main Republican establishment, they didn't really have a message. They sat on their laurels. McConnell was too worried about Trump candidates, so he didn't fund them. There is a sort of Cold War going on in the Republican Party. I don't actually think that Trump is going to stand down. I think that the only person really who can beat him for the nomination is DeSantis. I know all the sort of legacy media types want Trump to go, but they didn't want him to come in 2015. So I don't really think that that's going to happen myself.
What's your take on the battle between Trump and DeSantis? Do you think it's just a beat up by the leftist media to distract people from how ordinary the Democrat candidates were?
I don't know. I mean, you buy people wholesale, not retail, right? And so the attraction of Trump, at least for me, is that he's a fighter. And, look what he went through. For 4 years, they spent the first 2 years, he couldn't get anything done because they made up a Russia collusion hoax that really makes Watergate look like kids' work. It was a disgrace. They go to the FISA court. The FBI effectively is using documents they know are untrue. He's hobbled for 2 years. And then, members of the executive are trying to get him impeached for a phone call to Ukraine, all sorts of problems. And he never gives up fighting. So basically, that kind of person is pretty unusual. He's boorish, he's crass, he's incapable of backing down. Now, you buy people wholesale. Why do you think he's going to change when it comes to fighting other Republicans? He's not. Do I think DeSantis has got a better track record over the last 2 years? I do. I think Trump is vulnerable because of lockdowns. Because remember, he did lock down, whereas DeSantis was great through lockdowns. He stood up to the braying masses. I mean, I suppose in Trump's defense, his main advisor, Birx, has now written a book admitting she lied to him. And so it's pretty tough when you're a president, when your top people are lying to you. But again, anyone who gets elected from the right has to realize that the bulk of the civil service hates you. And you have to be prepared for that. And I don't think Trump was fully prepared for the extent to which they'd come after him. DeSantis would be. Now, whether DeSantis has the sort of cojones and the backbone, he showed a lot of backbone during COVID. So that's a good sign. But again, there's other questions like, can DeSantis bring out the base? I mean, a lot of commentators say, oh, look, Trump turns off a lot of voters. He does. But he also appeals to a lot of voters who otherwise wouldn't vote. It's a voluntary voting system.
I think what a lot of